Top story at this hour. The headquarters of the National Front Party in France has come under an arson attack. Charlotte Dubensky reports from the scene.
As you can see, just behind me is an insurance building that is right next door to the National Front offices. They are to the left of me. And it's here last night that there was an arson attack that was carried out by a group who've claimed it. They call themselves Fighting Xenophobia. They say they carried out the attack because they wanted to disrupt the National Front ahead of the election. It is just 10 days now before France's first round of the presidential election. And you might be able to see some of the damage that was caused by that arson attack last night. The fire was put out fairly quickly by the services, but now the remnants of the shattered glass on the doors behind me, in fact, an entire pane has been blown out of one of the doors, and that's because the group say they hurled Molotov cocktails at this building last night. They also sprayed graffiti on the wall, the graffiti saying the group Fighting Xenophobia was versus National Front. Now, Marine Le Pen has been at the party HQ here in Paris this morning inspecting the damage. This is what she had to say.
This is an act of aggression by the extreme left. The other political movements do not think like them. They are responsible for all the acts of aggression against police that we occasionally see on TV at the end of each demonstration.
Now, Fighting Xenophobia, the group that's claimed that it carried out this arson attack on the offices here of the National Front in Paris, say that they will now continue to carry out attacks in the lead-up to the French presidential election. It's just 10 days before voters go to the polls here in France to decide who they would like to be their president. Now, that's the first round. The person who, or the top two candidates, will go then through to a second round here in France, and they will fight off against each other. Now, all the polls suggest that the people who will win this first round will be Emmanuel Macron. He's the independent centrist in this election, and Marine Le Pen, who is the presidential candidate for the National Front. And they will go head-to-head, if those opinion polls are correct, for the presidency here in May. Now, this attack has meant that there will be increased security here at this office and at other National Front offices around France, as we do expect more attacks to happen, as that is exactly what the group have said they will do over the next 10 days and potentially up to that second round on May the 7th.
Meanwhile, a French rock band has released a song targeting the National Front's leader, Marine Le Pen. The lyrics lash out at her father and mother and incite physical abuse. We discussed the situation with radio presenter John Gaunt. He says this sort of thing could actually play into the hands of Le Pen.
The general population, and a lot of people who don't normally vote, they see this as antagonism, they see it as bullying, they see it as harassment, and they also begin to wonder why are these people so afraid of Marine Le Pen. And rather than turning them against these sort of characters, I think it actually turns them into supporters of them. It's disgraceful that people can't discuss politics in a grown-up manner. I mean, they talk about democracy, they talk about freedom of speech, but they're always the ones to shout down, to bully, to harass, to abuse, to accuse others of racism. And then their answer is to firebomb the officers of Marine Le Pen. I would have thought if you were against Marine Le Pen, the way to beat her was at the polls and by rational argument and by not descending to the level that you're accusing her of, which of course she isn't at that level anyway. So the whole thing is ridiculous.